Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about the amp. I've started to use some of the lesser used effects inside Ableton Live a little bit more, and I've started to explore them. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm first going to show off the sound that I made right now, and then I'm going to show you around the amp and how that works and some of the changes you can make to get different sounds out of it. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so this is the basic setup that we have. We have some post-processing stuff that I'm going to turn off for now, or hide for now, and we're mainly going to focus on the amp, and we can even turn the EQ off. But I'll play the patch. It sounds like this. So a very distorted sound, but it sounds very nice and very useful. So there is something interesting going on in Serum. Because we're running it through an amp, we don't really want the noisy thing or the clicky texture of a normal saw wave. So if you're new to this channel, how you can get rid of that click is by going in here and then randomizing the phase of that waveform, and that will generate a waveform that kind of looks like this, and basically that distributes the high end over the entire waveform instead of just that one click that we had before. So that's how you do that. So this is just one waveform going through a bandpass filter, no effects as you can see. So we're just basically using this to generate our special waveform and give it some texture with this bandpass. And the majority of the sound is actually coming from the amplifier. So if I turn it off, you can hear it's just a basic patch here. So this is some of the stuff you can do with the amp. You can very hardly distort it. In this case, we're using the lead version here. It has 7 modes. As you can see, normally it starts up with a clean version, which sounds a little bit more tame. Then the boost is a little bit louder and a little bit more distorted. You have the blues one, which has a unique character to it. Again, very tame. The rock one starts to get more distorted. Then we have the lead one, which is one of the more aggressive ones and is the one that I showed off before. You have heavy, which is even more distorted. And as you can hear, some of the high end is being taken out of this heavy one, so it's a little bit warmer. And the same counts for the bass version, which is made for bass guitar. You can hear when that cutoff goes down, that the distortion comes in a lot more. So the lead one worked the best for here. And there's some other things you can do as well. For example, you can adjust basic EQ here. We have the presence, which is the very high end. I usually turn that down because you don't want your leads to be overly high. And the same for the treble. So we're getting rid of most of the high end because the distortion introduces a lot of high end, and we kind of have to balance it out so that the mid-range still exists in our sound. And then just because we don't need it, we're getting rid of the bass. So that's why we have these settings, but you can play around with that a lot. You can give it a lot of mid-range if you want to. Then there's the gain, which obviously boosts the volume going into distortion, making it so that the distortion goes louder or less loud. But once you're over a certain volume here, the wave is getting crushed so hard that it doesn't really make a difference anymore. Maybe at very low filter cutoffs it can make a difference. But you can hear that it practically starts to sound all the same at like, let's say 7 or above. So yeah, again, this is a very fine control. All of these controls are very fine, I should say, and you really need to watch out what you're doing when playing with this. But it's definitely an effect that I think is overused. And as I said, I'm working a lot with some of the other effects that I haven't been using a lot. So I've been using a lot of erosion. I've been using the chorus effect a lot more. And I've recently also started using the cabinet, which is basically emulating a guitar speaker and microphone pickup system. So this is, if you're into guitar, that this is also an effect for you, and you can combine the both to create very guitar-like sounds. But yeah, this is kind of what I wanted to show off with the amp for now. It's a little bit of a shorter video. I'm trying to record a little bit more in advance. If you know my channel and you're into the community, you know that I'll soon be moving back to Italy. So I kind of want to prepare for that in terms of what I record and the stuff that I do. So I just had this nice synth to share with some cool ideas. Hopefully this can inspire you to make some cool synths. But with that being said, that's going to be it for today. I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. And I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.